Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. Okay, I guess it's time to start talking about the stock price. I don't think I've talked about it since it was in the low 600s, telling everyone to hold and suggesting it might be a good time to buy. Obviously, you should still be holding now, as we're starting to move again, and we aren't even at the all-time high from not far off a year ago now. Yeah, it's about time the price moved. For those of you long-time listeners, you might remember me telling you most of the year is going to be rough until we see the new factories open. There just wasn't going to be much to move the stock price. FSD will need some serious validation from authorities before it can really move the stock. The compact Tesla could have moved the price if it was revealed, but wasn't. So we didn't really have much to play with, aside from anything surprising that Elon or Tesla show us. Oh, like AI Day. Right, that didn't help either. Although I was right about what the stock price would do this year, I was also wrong. I didn't expect China to do anything like it has. And yes, although the anticipation of those new factories opening is building, it's been entirely China carrying the stock price this run. Tesla achieved these results with limited S and X sales too, right? Remember? Tesla's two most profitable cars by far. Well, they stopped selling for most of the year. Another reason it has been a tough year. But we got through it. And well done to all of you who held through it all. And an extra congratulations to those of you who bought more shares on the dips. And an extra congratulations to those of you who bought leaps. Yeah, they've been pretty good, right? In fact, let me know how your leaps have done for you in the comments. I'd love to hear, and especially if you purchased them as a result of my videos. Anyway, in my opinion, the stock price is running now. At this pace, it might hit $900 just before the anticipation of the earnings call. It may then drop a little after as people take profits, unless the earnings are even higher than I estimated. FYI, my estimate was about $1.9 billion in earnings. Tesla could break past $2 billion though. I think the analyst estimates are only around $1.5 billion. So 30% higher again than the analyst is quite a big difference, especially when we're using big numbers now. I worked really hard on this estimate and I'm very happy with it, and I think it's pretty solid, especially for the automotive revenue. I'm not expecting too many surprises, although I do regret a little not having more conviction buying options earlier. I tried to wait for the stock price to hit 720. Having options at times like these is so much fun, similar to betting on your favourite sports team when they're winning. But in reality, it doesn't make much difference to my financial position. It's just a bit of fun really. Anyway, the way I think it will actually go is we will approach 900 before earnings call. Not sure if it will break 900. It might be too big a barrier, as it is the all-time high. Then after earnings, there might be a bit of a dip, perhaps drop $20 or so. Then investors consolidate and realise exactly how good these numbers are, and it breaks through 900. I don't believe it will be enough to take us through to 1,000. I think earnings would have to be higher to do that, but it will have momentum, and we have two very big boosters next month. Berlin and Texas opening. I think that really should take us past 1,000. There you go. My price target for the year is $1,000. But surely, at worst, I think the price should hit $1,000 when Q4 earnings are announced. There is still the chance of a compact model reveal this year too, bound to offer further momentum. Despite Cybertruck and Model Y reveals doing very little for the stock price in the past, I think the compact is a much bigger deal. Also, it's going to be highly revolutionary. China's Model Y is at a run rate of 50,000 vehicles a month. This is about 3 times what it averaged the previous quarter. Model S is ramping further, and we're seeing some faint signs of the Model X coming back to life. But if Shanghai can do as many as 70,000 additional Model Ys in Q4 over Q3, then that should take us well above 300,000 deliveries for the quarter. The Fremont Model 3 should be running fully next quarter with an additional 10,000 units, hopefully perhaps 10 to 20,000 units from the new factories too, and perhaps an additional 10,000 units from S and X's. Then we're not far off 950,000 deliveries for the year, which will surprise a lot of people. Now I'm suddenly thinking that some February call options might be good too. To be honest, hitting that level of growth, it could send the stock price vertical. If Tesla achieves something like 300,000 deliveries in Q4, then earnings won't be far off $3 billion. Annualized, that comes to $12 billion. Even at a P ratio of 100, that's a stock price of around $1,200, almost up 50% from today. Alright, I know that's all absolute nonsense as much as you. I can't predict these things, but it's funny how we still like to think we know what might happen. Right, I know judging by your comments, I make these videos and it makes you want to buy more stocks, which shows you believe me and further validates my own theories, which in turn also makes me more bullish. It's quite a virtuous circle. Yes, these videos I make, I believe in 100%. I back it up with not just my own money, but as much debt as I can also get my hands on, and leverage as much as I can, namely with leaps. I find these videos just as useful as you. It's research and analysis that I want to know and feel is the most relevant. And don't worry, the debt I have is just me mortgaging my house, of which the interest I can afford easily enough. But for me, the emotion of missing out is worse than the emotion of losing money. Although I have used my credit card in the past to buy shares, this may sound a little irresponsible, I am competent enough to manage and service these debts. So please bear in mind, this is not me at all recommending you borrow money to buy Tesla shares. This is me just illustrating how much I believe everything I say and fully put my money where my mouth is. Really though, how likely is $1,000 stock price in the near future? Let's see what is required. What PE ratio should Tesla be trading at today? I'm talking about an annualized forward PE ratio of the quarter. E.g., if the quarter's earnings are $2 billion, that's $8 billion annualized, a PE ratio of 100 would equate to an $800 billion valuation. I don't like looking at the trailing 12-month PE. Tesla's growing too fast. It leaves that metric for dust. It's not an at all accurate reflection on the stock. It's currently showing a PE of 440, but at the current stock price, when we get the earnings report, we'd see an annualized PE from Q3 of about 120, or perhaps a bit more now after this latest stock price run. But the trailing 12-month PE will be just under 300. So how does that figure help? Now, if we're at $8 billion revenue annualized, then a PE ratio of 120 gives us a stock price of about $960. Tesla has barely gotten started. Remember, it's an exponentially growing company, but unlike other tech companies, Tesla's growth is limited by manufacturing tangible goods when compared to Google or Facebook, or the manufacturing is significantly more intense when compared to an iPhone. Although we're getting quite far within the growth stage, in time, the output is still very minimal when compared to where Tesla will be in just a few years. The growth is exponential. Please get your heads around this. If we have a P ratio of 120 with capacity about to quadruple and deliveries quadrupling within 2 years, well, divide 120 by 4 as 4 times capacity, and you're at a P ratio of 30. In other words, at today's stock price, when Berlin and Texas are at capacity in a couple of years, if the stock price remained the same today, the PE ratio would be 30, and that will still be early days. We aren't going to get to the really big numbers until about 2025. Except by that metric, we assume that just having 4 times the capacity means 4 times as much profit, except we'll have much larger economies of scale then, and the extra units delivered, well, these are coming from the factories that also carry a much higher profit margin. In reality, a closer estimate could be a PE equivalent of 15 to 20. I know it's hard to get your head around right now that Tesla is still a bargain, especially as it 10x'd last year. Oh, and I obviously think that those factories have a much higher capacity, and we have Fremont and Shanghai growing simultaneously. But I'll keep it conservative. No matter how bullish some of my numbers come across sometimes, I do somewhat err on the side of conservatism. But yeah, capacity could be up 6-fold from these factories. Okay, Tesla with a PE 30. Not believable. Tesla shouldn't be close to a PE of 30 this entire decade, assuming the same economic climate. Or as we say in economics, ceteris paribus. Yep, stock price still appears undervalued in my opinion. Remember, I am a bull, I am excited about this stock, and I only look at it through a bull's eye. No pun intended. There are plenty of external factors out there that can affect things. Obviously, potential supply chains. But these issues should occur to all the competition too, and they'll probably feel it worse. But Tesla has serious legs now. In fact, more than legs. A solid, concrete foundation. Any of these issues will simply delay things that may happen a bit later instead. It's not going to kill the company. Demand for electric is just too strong. You can't put that genie back in the bottle now, as much as the media have tried. So yeah, I'm of the belief that we should see $1,000 this year, or at the very latest, end of January when we get Q4 earnings. Anyway, again, well done to all of you with diamond hands who made it through to the next round. 2022 should be a doozy. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.